All right, welcome to Super Soldier Fun Day. Um, Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. I was just tweaking a few things, and I'm going to kind of still get around. And so, while I'm waiting for you guys to join my live chat for this exciting stream, Super Soldier Fun Day, I'm going to play some songs that I have created on SUNY.com. They have to do with the show particularly and the show in general, and some of them are published and some of them are not. And so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. I'm assuming you can see that, and I'm going to go ahead and play it, and I'll be back in just a minute. Actually, that's not what I wanted. Hold on.
Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drought in your brain, making you insane. Rapping up Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen, create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier talks in prison, Nordic and Draco, shape shifting in my Winnebago. Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drown in your brain, making you insane. Rapping the Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines rapping like Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word. Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drought in your brain, making you insane. Rapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen, create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier talks in prison, Nordic and Draco, shape-shifting in my Winnebago, rapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred, rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word. Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA, don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats, the real society road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Montages in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats, the real society road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, line about the stars. Captain Richard Jones for Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun, liars in the sun, liars in the sun. Montauk, Super Soldier Talk, Super Space Program. Let's jam. Money for the money, grifter, drifter, money, money shifter, donate, donate, because I lie and cry, and that's the reason why. Money for the money, grifter, drifter, money, money shifter, donate, donate, because I lie and cry, and that's the reason why. Money for the money, grifter, drifter, money, money shifter, donate, donate, because I lie and cry, and that's the reason why.
You know, that song was inspired by David Scherter. Actually, I'm using Suno AI music. So you put in the lyrics and then put your genre in, and then these songs spit out. So I made a few for today's show, and this one I made for the opening of my show. And I'll probably make a few more and decide which one I like the most, but I kind of dig this one.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Falling fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole.
I'm bringing myself back into the show here. I'm going to unshare the screen. And hey, I decided to do the circle cutout today. See if I like that better. So I've been covering the super soldier topic for a really long time. Back in 2015, I interviewed Max Spears on Revolution Radio. And last night, I went over, and I'm going to go over some of that footage that I did before, but I did a show featuring, he has a YouTube channel called Oki's Weird Stories, and he did a documentary about exploring what he called to be a bizarre conspiracy cult. And he sourced hold on here, I'm gonna have a little more coffee. He sourced James Rink from Super Soldier Talk, and I knew of James Rink. I never really spoke to him personally, but because I was on Revolution Radio, and because at the time I was dating Stephen D. Kelly, who also was calling himself a super soldier and went to the big super soldier summit that happened in Henderson, Nevada. Previously, I think that happened in 2014 before I actually joined Revolution Radio. So James Rink has definitely been in the mix and has been doing content for about the topic of super soldiers and claiming that he is a super soldier for a very long time. I personally, up until I did that one analysis, which I'm going to bring up again because there were a few things in it that I forgot that I had covered, and I was like, you know what, I want to remind myself of that. And you know what, I don't know if anybody's in the chat at the moment. Hi, Raven. And then there's some Red Snappers here. I've never known you before, but hi, Willow. Yeah, so like Willow and Raven, to name a couple people here in the chat, we have been following this particular topic for a really long time. And many of us were watching these interviews when they first happened on certain channels like Carrie Cassidy and Miles Johnston, more specifically. This kind of like where this whole thing came out. There was also a woman named Lorian Fenton that was part of producing a lot of the Super Soldier Summits and also has a connection to James Rink. There's a little redness right there. So I did create a couple of songs, and I played them earlier, but since there's more of you coming down, they're very short today that I uploaded on my YouTube channel. that has all the buzzwords and the lingo and what you would call the folklore of this particular kind of movement. And I've got different versions, but the ones that I published so far, I'm gonna just play them really quick for you. So I hope you enjoyed them. The first one I'm going to play is called it's called Rapping Like Benjamin Fulford. And I don't know, Benjamin Fulford has kind of disappeared, but he came out on the scene and was talking about the White Dragon Society and coming up with a lot of these um, different narratives of the Illuminati and the global elite and technology, advanced technology that can maybe make us live 200 years or be like immortal possibly. He was really and then he was doing stuff with David Wilcock, and then all of a sudden he disappeared, but he is part of the super soldier folklore. And so I wrote the lyrics to the song, and this is what the AI spit out.
Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drowning your brain, making you insane. Wrapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen. Create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sense. Super soldier talks in prison. Nordic and Draco, shape-shifting in my Winnebago. Rapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word.
Well, yeah, AI created the lyrics. I mean, no, I created the lyrics, and AI
Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drowning your brain, making you insane.
And then AI made the song, Willow. Yeah. Okay, so I wrote the lyrics, and then then you say make this song in this genre or whatever, and then it will spit out something. It's kind of interesting, huh? Okay, here's another one. This is the other one that I made. And I took the like I went back and I looked at a video that I did on the super like the documentary Oki's Word Stories, and I ended up like taking all these little buzzwords that were part of the super soldier folklore, and then I just like rhymed some lyrics a couple times. And then there's different versions. I was playing a lot of the if you go back at the beginning later on, right, I play like a whole bunch of versions of some of the lyrics are the same spit out, but just rearranged differently. So, but these are the ones that I actually published and uploaded to my channel. The other one is titled Montauk Super Soldier Talk. I actually titled it something originally different, but after it spit out, I feel like this was more an appropriate song title. So let me play this one too. Oh, and if you want to support, Not My Rabbit Hole and my work here, I do have I have buymecoffee.com / Tere Joyce. And also, this is other places on the ticker tape that you could support the show. And I also, if the very least, I'm monetized, so give myself the show a thumbs up and share. It would be most, very appreciated. And I do have super chats and super thanks. So thank you for being a part of Not My Rabbit Hole and supporting the show. Okay, so I'm going to go continue with this here.
Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The Vil Society Road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Born tossed in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's chat. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's chat.
Yeah, you should try it, Willow. It's pretty fun. I've been getting a kick out of it, and then you can you get his name. I think I'm called Astral something. What is my name on the channel? I am called Astral Records 6980. That's my and so you can publish your songs, and then you have published AI music, which is, hey, it's not that bad. And then if you've got a YouTube channel, you can just do songs for the show, and that way, your song content is monetized and everything. Oh, you know what? I also forgot to mention something. I do have a birthday coming up on July 4th. And on July 3rd, I will be performing at a cannabis dispensary. So I'm really looking forward to that on July 3rd. I actually almost have the same birthday as Tom Cruise's. We are the same age, and his birthday is one day before mine. And yeah, so I've been watching all these different Tom Cruise videos. I think I might do a show about that, where a whole analysis on Tom Cruise, like Tom Cruise doesn't blink. I started with that one, but he's a pretty amazing guy, and I don't know if you know this, but he does all of his own stunts. Really, seriously, he's something to observe. I was watching one video where it was like listing like his best movies that he did, and then it would do all of his jumps, like his best jumps or his best movie parts. And the number one was his part in Magnolia, which is a Paul Thomas Anderson film, and it's one of my favorite shows of his. Okay, anyway, I'm just rambling there for a second, but I want to get to the topic at hand, which is super soldiers, and this is Super Soldier Fun Day. I am a skeptic, and I become a skeptic in this particular genre of YouTube. And, I got to be honest, I do really think that a lot of it is utter bullshit, made up. And I think that it has a negative impact on what part of it might be true or possible. For instance, in the case of Jim Channon, which was in that certain part of the military where they use people with psychic abilities. I do think that remote viewing exists. I do think that there are, I have an open mind. If I didn't, I wouldn't have have been watching any of this. I have found this topic to be fascinating. You want to believe it because it reads like a science fiction film. I think if you took all the folklore of the Super Soldier program as, let's say, the information being disseminated on, let's say, Super Soldier Talk with James Rink, it would make a great sci-fi fantasy film. And I do believe that some of those scripts have already been written and just simply incorporated into our own folklore. So that being said, I thought I was looking at a little bit of James Rink earlier today, and here, and I want to show some of it. I also want to one of the things I'm going to be delving into this afternoon is the ramifications that this has on people who believe a lot of this to be true, and they have mixed it with Christianity, and or the reptilian folklore goes into the Christian folklore, and then how those two communities are kind of in opposition with one another. And so I'm just wanting to point that out as well. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to go into Super Soldier Talk. I found a particular video. And the title of the video is Super Soldier Talk Commander Anew, The Depths of Mind. This is actually one of the most recent uploads from James Rink, right? Or live streams. Here we go. Oh, I think it was me. I meaning to mention too that I'm performing on my birthday. I'm performing at a cannabis dispensary. Yeah, doing stand up. So I always love it. For me, like I celebrate my birthday the day before the 4th of July because most people are doing other things on the 4th, and it's really hard to throw a birthday party. I just go to some other party, really. But on the 3rd, when you're bringing that day in, I think it's really I like to do something fun during that time when your birthday is happening, right when it starts.
As a liaison for the Earth Embassy, working with many alien races.
Jean-Charles Moyen, Franco-American SSP, aboard the Solaris spaceship, a part of the Solar Warden. My mission, protection and rescue slaves on other planets.
Rebecca Rose, Psychic Super Soldier, Moon, Mars, Kuiper Belt, and beyond.
Namaste. I'm Yana Prakash.
And I want to point out that I have seen Becca Rose's name lately associated to, I believe, groups that are banding together and sharing information about Sarah Rachel Adams, who also is a self-proclaimed super soldier and psychic healer, just like this guy is saying he is.
A multidimensional healer, work directly with the Andromeda Council, and infinite creation through the oneness with all that it is.
We know if you won't tell them the truth, we will. I'm James Rink, founder of the Super Soldier Talk podcast, Healing Soul Survivors, 501c3, and now the Super Soldier Activation Conference. Join us this October 8th to 12th in Orlando, Florida, for 4 powerful days of groundbreaking discussions and personal activation. This grassroots event supports survivors of the secret space program, including those impacted by MILABs, otherwise known as military abductions, linked to...
And it's interesting that they call themselves survivors. They're survivors of the program. So
MK Ultra, Monarch, and Montauk programming. By purchasing your general mission or meal passes, you directly support our nonprofit mission and help make this one-of-a-kind gathering possible. Reserve your spot now at Super Soldier.
And we also pay our rent and are now able to afford good hair care products.
SoldierCon.com and stand with those who served in the shadows. Par Ardua ad Astra.
Like Pala Adu al Astra. That must be like a alien talk. Always good to have a group of people that have their own language. There's nothing more cult-like than that, really, right?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is James Rink, and I'm the host here. And we also have Commander Anu. How you doing today? Oh, yes, you got it. Oh my God, unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, thank you. Just moving along here. I've been putting in long days trying to get the conference going here, and I've got some updates. We're about to. We've received some pledges, and so the funds are coming in, and I want to say thank you for everybody who's donated. We still do need some more, so and also we like you to attend as well the conference. So go to Super Soldier Con.
I'm also sourcing fair use on this video. We're just educating the public and having a discussion about this topic. First of all, I want to mention that he doesn't look well to me, which I feel sad about. I mean, I don't agree with what he does or what he has done on the internet. I think that what he does is deceptive. But no, I'm definitely not wishing him any ill health, and I hope he's okay. He just seems thinner than he normally was, and it seems like he runs out of breath when he talks.
.com. Purchase a ticket. Also purchase a food pass. It'll help support the venue, and we're going to have a great time in October 8th to the 12th. So we also have Commander Anu here. So Commander Anu is going to be talking about the depths of mind control today. So her story.
Okay, Willow, I want to address you. First of all, happy birthday on your birthday coming on July 6th. We should do an online birthday party here, like a super soldier birthday us. I don't know. So here I agree with you. Willow says, I think there's a huge vampiric type of energy harvesting taking place in most of those groups, like the one exposing Sarah Adams. I have the same feeling about them, and I've refused to join them. I know some people that are in it, and they, if that's their choice, that's their choice. And, they have shared with me some of the stuff that's being discussed in those groups, but I prefer not to be associated with them. For the most part, when I have, because I have before, I've had a negative experience, which I don't really want to repeat. So I just find it interesting that the Becca Rose name is reappearing or was appeared in this particular thread, because this places her in this particular group of people, which means that she's probably, if you really look at it, because Sarah Rachel Adams also probably goes to the same conferences. Yeah, so, Sarah Rachel Adams was at Contact in the Desert, I heard. So this Becca Rose would be in direct competition against a Sarah Rachel Adams. So again, I don't know who she is, but there might be also it could be viewed as a bias, and it might just be fake drama. Who knows?
It's a fascinating one of leadership, innovation, and exploration. 2 years ago, she found herself aboard a spaceship over, well, that was actually probably more like 4 years ago, right?
Yes, yeah, it's more than 2 years now.
Yeah, over Lhasa, Tibet, where she learned her appointment as president of the Galactic Federation's Council Political Division, a prestigious body consisting of 13 members. In addition to her leadership as president, she also serves as a Galactic Federation liaison, bridging intergalactic communities and fostering collaboration. Since, hold on, guys, I probably need some more water. It's been very high here lately, so of course now it's about summertime, right? So we're getting closer and closer to the summer solstice here, and I usually have my fan blowing on me, but I turned it off because I think Anu is getting an echo. Are you still hearing the echo?
No, it's mostly gone now.
Okay, great. Good. Okay, so since September 2019, she has been a citizen and colonel in the New German Secret Space Program. New Germany, that is. What is that? What's the New Germany? What do you mean by as compared to Germany itself?
Well, Germany is in Europe, but the German breakaway started actually in 1936 when the Third Reich found the crashed UFO in Freiburg in Germany, and that was the beginning. In this timeline of the secret space program. But the secret space program really got off the ground during the expedition to Antarctica at the end of 1938 and the beginning of 1939, because we moved into New Swabenland, and we've been there ever since. And due to this,
So let me bring this up too. That Schwabenland is very much a part of this folklore involving the real society and everything. So just kind of bullet point that for a second.
Success of that, we then formed a base on the moon and also on Mars, and also in other off-world locations. But we've also been building bases on Earth as well. So quite a well-known one is base 2995 in Houston, Texas. That's one of our favorite ones.
Is that
and we
underground?
actually moved into that location to study 3 underground pyramids because, we're very much into pyramids. So, of course, we're fascinated with those ones in Antarctica too that look like mountains.
Yes, I'm going to stop this for a second, Willow. I do know that there's been a split between Sarah and Taj, and I've covered the topic a little bit here on Not My Rabbit Hole. I also have watched and been in the chat of Stephen Cambion covering this as well, and I believe Taj gave Steven some footage that, oh my God, it's shocking. It's on one of Steven's channels, and I was thinking about showing it, but it's really foul. It's a footage of an apartment inspection, and Sarah's room is just absolutely filthy, and then it takes a shot of the bathtub with this dirty but also has feces in it. It is one of the most gross things I've really looked at. So I don't know what's up with Sarah. That is, treat somebody's home like that or apartment. Yeah. So, and I know that they're speaking of those groups online that are talking about it, about Sarah in this particular situation, do exist. And I know of one of them specifically. I'm wondering if there's more than one right now. The echoing, I think, is a glitch on the original recording. Maybe the echoing is actually, yeah, maybe, perhaps. They're super because they're not soldiers. Well, thank you, Cocos. Okay. I want to play a little bit more and then I'm going to show you another video.
But underneath Houston, so is that like a Mayan breakaway underground where this facility is located? I'm guessing underground or outside or dimension, or how's that work?
Well, it's no, it's actually in this dimension. But do you know the area of Houston called Galveston?
Yeah, well, that's basically what, southeast near on the coast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's
America, right?
where the base is located underground there.
How many personnel are down there?
Oh, I'm not sure of the numbers.
Well,
no, there aren't actually that many people there.
Because I wonder if there's a connection with George Bush Sr., who was really high up in the, well, I guess we didn't really have a Nazi party here in the U.S. in this timeline, but ARN, the American Reich Nazi Party, but that one, that's another timeline. Anyway. Okay, so let's go back to
but another timeline. And I find that here we go with the bases, which is also connected to how, Miles Johnson, the bases. A lot of talk about things being in bases, things happening under tunnels. Stephen D. Kelly does that. Rumors in folklore about underground tunnels in Los Angeles, which I do believe actually really exist, but the belief that the lizard people live under those particular tunnels. I could go into, maybe we should do a show about underground tunnels, what's real and what's not real. In there were the underground tunnels in Portland where people would get shanghaied and human trafficked at the port. So those tunnels still exist. Seattle has an underground. Seattle Underground. I mean, tunnels are everywhere, right? The elite are supposed to escape in tunnels. That was another Stephen D. Kelly theory before he went into talking about children being underneath it, which he has actually had no proof other than the Nazi psychics that he says protect it. It goes on and on, right? And so, but I thought, just for fun on a Sunday, I would go into ChatGPT and do a deep search on James Rink and the Super Soldier Talk. So talk, including its validity. Tools. Run deep research. All right. We're gonna let that To help me do a thorough investigation, could you please clarify, and would you like me to focus on regarding James Rink and Super Soldier Talk? For example, are you looking for biographical overview of James Rink? Should I focus on the content and the themes of the Super Soldier Talk series? Are you interested in evaluating the factual validity and credibility of the claims made in Super Soldier Talk? Would you like information on how the platform is perceived by experts in the public? All of the above, please. All right, so that's going. Well, that's going. Okay, Angela says, be careful with the underground tunnels. There was somebody in our Vegas community years ago that went under the tunnels and showed the homeless people there. Somebody started killing them. Oh yeah, I heard about there being homeless people in the tunnels in Las Vegas, and I've even seen other YouTube channels cover that particular topic. Maybe even like a documentary on it. I had seen before. Yeah. If they look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, they may be super soldiers. There's lots of them, and it's a very sad situation that unfolded. Oh yeah, the homeless people living in the tunnels. Well, you see a lot of that. I mean, I think that happens in New York. There's a lot of even like if you watch movies, it often depicts homeless people living in tunnels. So there are definitely people, living in places like that. Now, whether or not they are reptilian shape-shifting lizards is another story, right? Willow says, I'm sure there are underground tunnels. Wait, sorry, let me put it on the screen here. I'm sure there are underground tunnels under every city. I live in South Wales, UK, and we have an underground tunnel system here that the public are not permitted to access. Yeah, okay, so I'm getting the feeling that you guys are confirming that maybe there are things that actually really take place in the tunnels that we should be a little bit more interested in, and I agree with you on that, and I really think that would be a really really good show topic, right? I'm gonna write that down and explore. I wanted to put a little bit more lipstick on, but I guess I won't. So grab my bag. All right, I gotta stop being distracted. But it's Super Soldier Fun Day, so it doesn't have to be. I don't feel like being formal. It's like a Sunday. This is a relaxed show. We're kind of like kicking back, listening to Super Soldier music, exploring some thoughts. Hi, the Crafty Nihilist. Well, thank you for calling me your favorite YouTuber. I really appreciate that. Make sure to like and share. We live over a dumb. Redlow Manor, very well known. Oh, well, thank you. I enjoy doing live streams, especially stuff like this. I think it's fun. Why not? Why not? We've a lot of us have been, following this and a part of this for a really long time, and it's at the very least, it's interesting to talk about. That would be interesting show and sort of fun. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's a show we might want to do together. Like we just, culminate our research and bring out our theories about what does exist. Do a panel show on underground tunnels. I mean, or just at least have guests at our panel. Like, be like a TED talk or something on the underground tunnels. Why not? Okay, so that's still going here. All right. Here's a show that I did a long time ago, and I kind of want to revisit it again. I had already done on covering that documentary. In this documentary, a guy posed as a super soldier, contacted James Rink, went on his show, and pretty much duped him. And the title of the documentary is, I believe it's called How I Got Caught Up in a Bizarre Conspiracy Cult. Let me see. Yeah. No, it's called How I Infiltrated a Bizarre Conspiracy Cult. And I've got it tagged to my video. So I'm going to give this video, my video, to you, and then that video has the original documentary tagged in it. So I'll put this right here. Okay. And so let's go. Let's take a look at this. So I'm going to go about right here. And okay, got that shared. Oh, I got to unshare this one. Get rid of that one. I had on the wrong thing there. That wasn't right. Part of it. Yeah, here we go. Notice that Benjamin Fulford is right in the beginning.
My fellow humans, I am Benjamin Fulford, spokesperson for the White Dragon Society. With me here is Chodoin Daikaku. He's the head of the world's martial arts societies, and if necessary, and in an emergency, he can summon up an army of 200 million people worldwide.
By the way, what has happened to Benjamin Fulford? I don't know. I haven't seen him anywhere. Have you guys?
Here on my right is Alexander Romanov, who is a grandmaster of an Illuminati group that claims to have started the French, Russian, and American revolutions. As you may know, there has been a battle going on over the future of this planet.
Back in May of 2021, I was exposed to a bizarre conspiracy community that makes flat earthers look reasonable by comparison. Unlike a lot of conspiracy theories, which tend to have a small degree of truth, which is often extrapolated into outright fiction, this conspiracy theory is based on nothing but pure fantasy. Imagine if someone told you they lived out the plot of the movie Total Recall, that they thought they were living a regular life until one day they recovered memories of being a secret agent fighting an evil organization on Mars. Now, what if they also said that they were a space marine who fought insectoid and reptilian extraterrestrials on different planets? And finally, what if they capped it all off by claiming to be G.I. Joe? If you ever encounter someone like this, it's possible that they believe that they are part of the secret space program. The secret space program is a conspiracy theory which has grown in popularity within the past decade. There are YouTube channels, social media groups, and entire conferences dedicated to a shared belief that humanity has already traveled to the far reaches of space, and that a shadowy world government has been hiding this truth from the masses. A lot of the people who buy into this theory also believe that they were abducted and forced to serve in the secret space program against their will. This isn't a LARP, or an ARG, or a giant sci-fi influenced role-playing game. No. These people genuinely believe this stuff, and their community is getting bigger by the day. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years this overtakes Flat Earth as the most ridiculed conspiracy theory by the general population. And that's because it's
That's really scary.
way crazier. I was put onto this by a friend of mine who goes by the handle Vapes for Christ. Here's us talking about it on a Discord call.
Speaking of vaping,
So, like, I was listening to this podcast called The Unexplained of Howard Hughes. It's basically like the UK's equivalent to Coast to Coast. It's on the radio as well. And they just had this one guy in there I saw. His name was Captain Randy Kramer. Like, he was saying stuff like he was actually a genetically enhanced super soldier made in a lab in the late 1960s.
he's not really the best looking guy. And I don't mean that. I guess it maybe sounds kind of insulting, but I guess it does. So I kind of find that interesting that he's, I don't know, he's kind of an odd looking guy, really, in a way. And yet he's, I don't know, almost has this rock star status.
These for a secret space program where he was battling aliens on Mars for the Mars Defense Force. And the more I looked into this, he's not alone. There's like a whole community of people that claim they've also been part of this program.
Randy lived on the planet Mars for 17 years, where he said there were approximately 6 to 7 million people living, including various ET races.
So I was genetically engineered from the ground up, tinkered with some extraterrestrial hybridized DNA to, be smarter, faster, stronger for soldiering abilities. Where I spent a little over 17 years in the MDF, which is the Mars Defense Force. I was in the infantry there on the ground, mostly scuffling with indigenous reptoids and indigenous insectoids territorially, mostly really to test military equipment.
There are a lot of interesting characters in the SSP/Super Soldier world, such as Joyce.
Notice Captain Mark Richards here. And by the way, I want to give you guys an update about Captain Mark Richards and his relationship to Carrie Cassidy. Apparently, they have had a falling out, Carrie Cassidy and Captain Mark Richards, over the fact that Captain Mark Richards does not support Donald Trump, and he does not believe that JFK Jr. is still alive. Now that's what's coming off of the Carrie Cassidy camp. Also, his wife Joanne, that married him while he was in prison, she has now divorced him, and I believe that the house is going to be for sale soon that she was living in. Oh my God. And her story, I mean, maybe some of you guys know this, but his wife was the caregiver for his mother. All right. And then when the mother passed away, or maybe she might have still been alive, she ends up marrying him. Right. And then, I mean, obviously she saw dollar signs in her eyes. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the update that Carrie Cassidy and Captain Mark Richards are no longer together because he is not a Trump supporter. And to tell you guys the truth, I don't believe it. Like, I don't buy Carrie Cassidy's story. That he's gonna, that it's because she's supporting Trump. And what gets me about all these guys, including James Rink, that they've all gone booing on. Okay, they all went conservative. They all went booing on, and I'm thinking probably the main reason that might be is because it was the algorithms of it, right? And but that this community has been very much part of the genesis of booing on and booing on believers.
Dwight Eisenhower's great-granddaughter, Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, James Casbolt, a self-proclaimed former MI6 agent who's now in prison for trying to blackmail 2 million euros out of his supercenter heiress ex-wife, Haley Major, and Mark Richards.
Haley Meyer, he didn't pronounce it right, but that's okay.
Also in prison, not for blackmail this time, but instead for robbery and murder in the mid-1980s. He was also bizarrely plotting a paramilitary takeover of his county in order to turn it into King Arthur's court with himself as a king. Yeah, that's a thing. Within the community,
I know somebody else who also wants to be king, and we're going to get to that later on in the show.
These people are known as whistleblowers, individuals who risk their lives to disclose sensitive information about their time in the secret space program.
I'm not going to, and again, it's interesting that I noticed Laura Eisenhower there. I want to get to, I just want to say who the whole King thing. It's interesting that King comes up because we had King's Day, the King's Day March, a lot of people talking about Kings. But Stephen D. Kelly also believed that he should be king, that he should be king of the world. Basically, he said, I need to be president. I need to be running the world. Yeah. Yeah. I dated him. Okay, anyways.
Initially, I was struck by how these so-called whistleblowers spoke with such earnestness while claiming to have lived out grand stories akin to Z-grade science fiction. And more strikingly was how many people seemed to believe them.
There's a secret space program.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit farther here and skip through here. And then he's gonna get to, like, he gets to James Rink, who that's who he really keys into, is James Rink. Okay.
And what really intrigued me about it was it just kept getting crazier and crazier. And that's how I found my new favorite YouTube channel, Super Soldier Talk, which is run by a guy named James Rink. He's been doing it for 13 years, and he's been a hardcore.
Look how young he is there. He is really young. He looks like he's in his 20s right here.
Believer of it for even longer than that.
Okay, let me give you an update on James Rink too, because I've been covering even more Brock Brader, right, on Miles Johnston's show, talking about, like, trying to pump up her husband, who is an FBI fugitive for molesting a 10-year-old and was featured on In Pursuit by John Walsh. Anyways, her whole spiel with Miles Johnston is that Sarah Rachel Adams and James Rink are working together against Miles and her husband. Okay, all right, let's keep going.
I found myself really drawn to James, especially his demeanor. I don't mean to ridicule the guy, but I genuinely just find him amusing.
So I am a super soldier. I've been involved in the secret space program for at least 330 years. I say that with a lot of hesitation because some of these projects...
You should say that with a lot of hesitation.
They have time compression zones where you're outside of time and the time is going by a little bit slower than the rest of reality. They use re-aging tech, different...
Okay, I want to also bring something up about James. I want some re-aging tech. Rink, the first time I saw him, he was like selling this little cube to people to heal them. I think I see a shot of the cube in this particular video. I really haven't spent a whole lot of time watching James Rink, although his name has been coming up a lot more lately. So I'll keep going.
Cloning.
Yeah, Willow. I want to address Willow for a second. She's saying Casbolt was running for counselor in Cornwall recently, but got booted after they discovered his criminal conviction. Yeah, I did an expose on, or I did a live stream a few weeks ago, like almost a month ago, about James Casbolt, and I found that about him and discussed it, that he had run for counselor. So what he's doing now is really very interesting, don't you think? I do.
Bodies, there's different techniques on how they can re-age us and reuse us. I spent at least 75 years on Mars.
Anyway, James runs the most popular YouTube channel.
75 years on Mars. 75. And he looks like he's like maybe, 32 right here.
Channel in the community. It consists of interviews he conducts with secret space program.
It's interesting that he finds James Rink to have the most popular YouTube channel about super soldiers, because he's completely bypassed Carrie Cassidy and Miles Johnston.
experiencers from around the world. The guests on James' show all claim to be victims
Okay,
of the
I'm going to skip through this part, and then I want to go to where he explains the theory and the different LARPing of what it's all about. Okay, so here's the plan, the made-up story. What this? Yeah, that's right. Re-aging tech for all. Do not bogart the aging techniques, guys. It would be women. I mean, not just women. We really want it. We really want it. No, I'm kidding. This guy does is that he studies the culture of the super soldier program, and with all the different stories, he takes it, he maps it all out of how it all evolves and how it all matches, and then he creates his own story, goes to James Rink, asks for James Rink charges $200 for like a hypnosis and this and that to bring your memories up, and then I guess it's like some sort of like counseling or whatever, and apparently he's booked in advance. It looks like being a super soldier survivor is very profitable, because this guy makes his appointment, and James Rink cannot talk to him for he makes the booking a month out from I'm saying a month ahead from when he, you know what I'm saying. Okay, here we go.
and get onto James' show and share it with his community. And that's how I finally found an angle that compelled me enough to make a video about this topic. And the angle was to become a secret space program whistleblower myself.
Let's rock.
So if my goal still sounds too vague to you, I set up a criteria for how I was going to accomplish it. A set of rules, if you will. 1, make up a compelling story about my time in the secret space program, which has to follow the established lore of the conspiracy. 2, get onto a major platform within the community as a whistleblower and share my experience. I developed this criteria after thinking what's required to become an SSP whistleblower. Obviously, evidence of being in the secret space program isn't necessary at all. All that's needed is a story which follows the lore, and, after that, I just have to appear on a major platform and share it. I decided that I would aim to appear on James's channel. Like I said, it's the most popular.
Hey, Thanks for Christ is here. Hi, welcome. Glad you showed up. All right, here we go.
YouTube channel in the community, and it's even had the illustrious Captain Randy Kramer on it twice. Unlike Captain Randy Kramer or Corey Good, I was unlikely to get my own show on Gaia.com, so I settled for a more manageable but still difficult task. To increase the difficulty, I chose not to use my own YouTube channel as a way to influence my way onto the show. Therefore, I needed to find a way to ingratiate myself with James, and hope that he decided to invite me on as a guest himself. Before I did that, I needed to create a compelling story. In order to craft my narrative, I began to study the plethora of interviews available on Jay's channel, as well as the SSP lore extensively.
Okay, open up your textbooks. It's time for me to start explaining the lore behind the secret space program. Now, I'm going to try and do this as fast as possible. Okay, so it started right before World War II when the Nazis were interested in mysticism.
Before World War II, the Nazis, who were interested in mysticism and alternative views...
And I find that interesting because it goes right into the Nazis, right? And the Uberman theory. So this is the beginning of it. And the mysticism aspect.
The planet for fantastical powers. They found Maria Orsek, a medium and leader of the Vril Society, who channeled Nordic and Draco reptilians who...
How many times does Miles Johnston drop the Vril Society?
Offered the Nazis the semantics behind anti-gravity technology and UFOs. The Draco reptilians told the Nazis about ancient alien technology hidden in Antarctica, and in 1938...
And here we go with the Antarctica again. I know I'm interrupting, but I'm just bullet pointing because you guys know what I'm talking about. Wasn't Miles Johnston's most recent video where he's the whole problem that we have right now in human history, it goes all the way back to the Antarctic. So, I mean, there might be something up with the Antarctic because we have, what was it? I don't know. We've had certain people in major politicians.
Hi, Vera. Good to see you here.
Going there, and anyway.
The Nazis traveled there. With this newfound tech, the Nazis created the Die Glocke, aka the bell, which was capable of space.
I mean, it's not Schwabenland, right? Isn't that the entrance to Schwabenland in the inner Earth?
Time travel. In 1942, the Nazis were already in space. There they built a base on the dark side of the moon. And by 1950, the Nazis were on Mars. Despite having access to this advanced alien tech, the Germans still lost World War II because apparently the Germans who possessed the technology did not agree with Hitler's regime, so there was a split.
The new Schwabenlanders didn't want to support Hitler at the end of the war because they considered him insane and the final solution. So there was already a split.
In SSP lore, the Nazis capable of space and time travel became the Fourth Reich, and they pissed off to Antarctica in space while refusing to provide any support to the Third Reich Nazis during the war. Anyway, the evil globalists, i.e. the Cabal and the Illuminati or something, engaged in a Cold War against the Space Germans. Meanwhile, the Space Germans were also fighting the Draco reptilians and various alien life forms in space. The Antarctic/Space Germans would be responsible for abducting people to serve in joint black projects between themselves, the Cabal, aliens, and pretty much anybody with any power at all. This was the beginning of the secret space program. By the 1960s, the Space Germans created Notwaffen, aka Dark Fleet, and began an aggressive expansion out into the solar system, setting up bases on moons around Saturn, the Kuiper belts, and etc. Capable of time travel, the Space Germans also traveled back in time to settle on planets around the galaxy.
Now there's 3 billion people.
All right, so I'm gonna. That's kind of the background. You guys know it. I'm gonna skip to where he goes in and has the interview. Show you a little bit of the interview with James Rink. And then I want to get to the event they go to. And the event that they go to is a David Farman event. And I've been to one before. And I want to show you also who else is on that lineup. Okay. But I'm going to show you just a little bit of this.
Okay. I want to read this out loud because this is a great comment. Raven TW says, my favorite part of the story was that he could get away from vampires by dropping things because they would have to stop to count them. Count Dracula. That's when I realized, was that your defining moment when you went, wait a second, this might be bullshit. I think we've all had ours.
Just here.
From James that I was waiting for. Our session lasted for 2 hours and 14 minutes. The results of the session exceeded my expectations.
I would be curious, what is your genetic background? Like what ET groups are you connected with?
Draco reptilian humanoid hybrid, and then I think I also got like Anunnaki.
Do you know who you might have been in a past life?
Have you heard like the Black Samurai Yasuke?
You were a samurai?
Yeah. Dude, I'll show you something. Check this out.
That's pretty dope. And I was a gladiator.
Right.
Oh no, that's awesome.
The goal here, I want us to take us into hyperspace. Let's put a gold shield of light around.
Closes his eyes and stuff. Okay, that's part that gets me.
Us. So at this point, we call upon Oki's higher self to overwrite any kind of AI. Begin to relax your forehead and your cheeks. And you can breathe just fine in and out.
$200 for this, guys. $200. How many people are giving him $200 to do this? Like, what does he make per month? Is what I'm wondering.
As the relaxation goes down into your legs.
I mean, my God, what an easy way to make money, right?
Fly through the clouds, the puffy clouds. You jump around a little bit. Your higher self already knows where to go. So go ahead when you're ready. Step on through the door. And without putting any kind of conscious thought into it, just imagine what do you think would be behind that door? So let's start with that. And tell me what you see.
I see Kevin Spacey, or his clone.
Okay, and this is the part that gets me about the Kevin Spacey thing. I think Kevin Spacey overall is like a bullet point for some people that Kevin Spacey's clone trained them. And
I want to bring something, and again, I love this Kevin Spacey part. So,
that Kevin Spacey's in the narrative. But I also want to interrupt my own replaying of my own show from 3 years ago, or maybe this was 4, to discuss the what Willow says. There was a time I would have paid for that, and I think that a lot of us would, a lot of people would, and a lot of people still are. And then you realize, like Paul Schill says, $200 is affordable. Well, yeah, now that just staying in a cheap motel room is $100, like practically going to getting fast food 5 times in a week is $100, considering. People are so desperate for confirmation or evidence. Yes. And I also think that the thing that's attractive about this is that it gives a sense of community to people and a belief system and an identification, even if the identification isn't real. So, yeah. I would have starved all week to pay him. I could definitely do the job. I think a lot of people could do what he was, to fake it. If you know how to fit in, if you know all the right things to say, what the story is, and then maybe you say it so many times, some people actually really believe it. And, the only way that I think this comes into the picture is because of the Men Who Stare at Goats. This is my theory. Kevin Spacey stars in that, which if you're going to go with anything about people using psychic energy and things like this in any type of military, that is the most legitimate aspect of where when they really did that. In the middle, that the Men Who Stare at Goats is based on a true story, and Kevin Spacey's character is based on somebody who was a psychic. Okay, and then his character in the Men Who Stare at Goats does MK Ultra mind control with LSD on another soldier who loses it. All right, so I just find it interesting that now Kevin Spacey is Mr. Lolita flight airplane dude. Hanging out with Ghislaine Maxwell is now part of this theory.
Paul Serene, he was on the governing council of the ICC. So his clone is Kevin Spacey.
We're in a gymnasium. It's me and at least 100 other. I think they're recruits.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it here because I'm just giving you guys highlights, right? I don't want to, play his whole entire thing, but I'm just giving you the highlights of it. So he goes through this, hypnosis, and then James Rink asks him if he wants to speak at the cosmic consciousness event in Las Vegas. It's at the Golden Nugget, and he will give him 45 minutes. Now, notice there's no hey, we're going to put up you in a hotel room, or, here's your meal per diem or anything like that. It's you get your way out there, you get your hotel room, you go and say, you go and do your thing. Now, I'm going to stop this share for a moment, and I want to go to I did MK Ultra experience on myself in college. Adam audition. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. That is from a long time ago. I don't live there anymore. I don't have that background, and I missed that jacket. I accidentally left it in the bathroom, and I could kick myself for it. Anyway, hey, here I am back here. All right. Okay, so what I thought I would do, the Substack did come, not the Substack. I'm going to share you a Substack link here in just a second, but the James Rink ChatGPT links and overview has been finalized. I did a deep search while we were looking at that particular video, but I want to take a little bit of a break. We've been going for an hour and 18 minutes. I'm going to play some of the music with some of the things that you just listened to right now in these videos, some of the buzzwords, the music that I did open the show. And I am on Substack, and I started to upload and, write articles and upload certain videos. You can find me there as well. And I want to give you my, here in the link, if you want to take it, you can even, like, while I'm playing this music and we're taking a little bit of break, please feel free to scan the article or read the article or save it for later at your leisure. But it is called, the title of it is What Happened to Jaunty Morningstar. So that's that. And then I also have some videos. So please subscribe to me on Substack. And when I do publish something, you will get an email of when that item does come out. So I'm going to be doing a lot more writing on Substack. And I did just, get my degree in digital journalism this last semester. And I'm also going to be getting my MFA in creative nonfiction writing. So I got accepted into the master's program and will be also contributing some of my writings to my Substack as well. That would fall into the creative nonfiction essay. I also have some flash fiction that's not nonfiction and different things that I also will be adding to that site, as well as videos like this, or particular podcasts will be there. Maybe something, will be exactly the same as my YouTube channel. So just want to give you a heads up on that. You can also find me at Tere Joyce on X. I'm also on Facebook. But I'm very picky about who I bring on Facebook. That's mostly, it's a little bit different there, but I do have a Facebook account, and I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. And I will make sure that with these upcoming videos that are on my channel, that I actually link those links to my channel here and my videos. I just have to get more with it on those particular things. And if you are watching, please do give this video a like, and if you so are inclined, please do share it. It helps the channel out. And I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of music, and we're going to take a slight break. This is the music that is on my Suno channel.
Indigenous and stories weaving you the void, shrouding your brain, making you insane. Wrapping up Benjamin full fur, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen, create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier talks in prison, Nordic and Draco, shape shifting in my Winnebago. Indigenous instincts weaving you the void, drowning your brain, making you insane. Wrapping the Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines wrapping like Benjamin forward, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word. Indigenous insectoids weaving you the void, drowning your brain, making you insane. Wrapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Captain Mark Richards, a secret space program grifter, getting married while in prison, making you listen. Create a new religion, doing the reptilian, making you forget my sins. Super soldier talks in prison. Nordic and Draco, shape-shifting in my Winnebago. Wrapping the Benjamin Fulford, living the absurd like a blue avian nerd, keeping the lines blurred. Rapping like Benjamin Fulford. Word. extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The real society road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Monsters in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam. Extraterrestrial hybridized DNA. Don't need to worry about tooth decay. Kevin Spacey and his clone are feeling alone. Men who stare at goats. The real society road. Super Soldier Sunday, just another fun day. 75 years on Mars, lying about the stars. Captain Richard charms like Charles Manson's gun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Liars in the sun. Montauk, super soldier talk, super space program. Let's jam.
And those are pretty much the. Let me stop this there. Shoot. Hold on. Okay, so those are some of the songs that I created on SUNY.com with AI. And yeah, you can find it at SUNY.com. I think they have a link. I should probably get a link to promote them because it seems like some of you liked it. Aiken Drum says, I had a super soldier action man as a child. Steve Austin had a bionic arm. Yeah, legs and an eye. Still not true, still crap. I grew out of playing with dolls, and it's a good idea that the Grill Flamers to grow up too. Yeah, we have that over here in the United, because I know you're not, I think you're in New Zealand, right, Aiken? But anyways, we have that in the United States too because of the TV show. My brother and my cousin both had that doll. I remember it. We actually have Christmas movies of them playing with that doll with the bionic eye. And we had the Oscar Goldman doll too. Yes, definitely the Bionic Man. Classic TV series. Yeah, so, and a lot of these things are kind of like, taken out of that kind of like out of a TV series, really. Okay, so I did look up James Rink. Okay, I asked ChatGPT to do a deep search. And here's what we got. James Rink and the Super Soldier Talk phenomenon. Biographical overview of James Rink. James Rink is a conspiracy theorist and a content creator known for his involvement in the fringe secret space program SSP community. He describes himself as a meditation practitioner, researcher, author, and video producer. And here's a link. I'm going to click on some of the links later. Oops. So this is basically, looks like it's taken from his website. I don't know if you see that here. It's called Out of This World. No, you can't see it. Okay, I clicked on the link. We'll go to it later. Okay. All right. Rink claims to have been a super soldier, allegedly a participant in secret government programs involving off-world missions and mind control experiments. According to promotional bios, he has even been portrayed as a time traveler who, through the Montauk Project, visited Mars and many other places. These extraordinary personal claims form the basis of Rink's public persona and work. Rink's personal history, as he tells it, is intertwined with conspiracy narratives. He asserts that he was subject to covert projects like Project Surrogate and Ultra MK MyLab, involving military abductions, MyLab, trauma-based mind control, and experimental super soldier programs from an early age. In his account, he endured brainwashing and covert harassment as part of these projects, and even spent time as a soldier in space under alternate identities. For example, Rink has claimed in all seriousness that under various aliases and timeline manipulations, he served a cumulative 330 years in secret space forces. And I'm sorry, just let me take a moment. Okay. Including 75 years as a super soldier on Mars for a breakaway Nazi faction. He alleges this mine came in. I had a thought like, who do you think you are, David Schroeder? Anyways, whatever. It was just a Tourette's moment. He alleges he was later age regressed and returned to civilian life with suppressed memories. Such claims, while far-fetched, no shit, are central to Rink's identity in his community. In terms of career output, James Rink is best known as the founder and host of Super Soldier Talk, a media platform, initially a YouTube interview series dedicated to SSP and super soldier topics. He has authored at least one book, Lone Wolf, right, which chronicles the alien hybrid super warrior program and purports to detail the secret experiments and experiments he and others underwent. Rink also produced a documentary film, Change is on the Horizon, Dawn of a Golden Age, 2012, dealing with Nasara and global conspiracy themes. Beyond media, he markets esoteric technology. He founded Neological Technologies, Neo, selling the Neo meditation device, a chi energy meditation cube. See, that's where I mentioned earlier in that video about that cube. Earlier today, I was replaying my own video. So that he claims aids relaxation and the integration of one's fragmented self. In practice, his online store offers expensive meditation cubes. Sorry, I can't read this straight, guys. You know that, right? You know that. That's why you're here. Expensive meditation cubes and related new age products. Rink's profile in the conspiracy community has grown over the past decade to the point where he now helps organize events like Super Soldier Summit activation conferences. And we played a little clip of that earlier on in the show. For enthusiasts and self-proclaimed insiders. Despite the fantastical nature of his claims, Rink has garnered a following in certain UFO and disclosure subcultures. All right. Excuse me. The Super Soldier Talk platform. Super Soldier Talk is Rink's primary platform for disseminating his and others' stories. Launched as a YouTube channel and now also on alternative video sites like Rumble and BitChute, Super Soldier Talk is essentially a web interview show. Rink hosts interviews with individuals who claim to be whistleblowers or survivors from secret programs. The content is typically long-form conversations, often via a video call, in which guests recount their alleged experiences in covert operations, paranormal projects, or extraterrestrial encounters. The stated mission of Super Soldier Talk is to awaken humanity to the secret activities of the covert government by uncovering topics such as mind control, illegal experiments, and advanced technologies hidden from the public. The format and content of Super Soldier Talk include interviews, personal testimonies, and occasionally documentary-style videos. Many episodes feature self-identified super soldiers or MyLab survivors telling fantastical stories. For example, Rick has hosted like Randy Kramer, who claims to be a former Mars Defense Force captain, and others who allege involvement in secret space fleets. Some episodes delve into topics like alien abductions, regressions to recover suppressed memories, and spiritual aspects of these covert programs. Rink himself often contributes his own recollections and insights during interviews, reinforcing the narrative that a sprawling secret world exists behind official history. Target audience. The platform caters to an alternative community fascinated by UFOs, government cover-ups, and New Age spiritual warfare. Within the secret space program and conspiracy circles, Super Soldier Talk has become a prominent hub. It has been described as a prominent platform within the secret space program community that showcases insider testimonies. The viewers are typically those already inclined to believe in cover-ups of alien contact, black budget military projects, and metaphysical phenomenon. While the channel's reach is modest by YouTube standards, Rink is considered one of the most successful influencers in the niche. As one commentary notes, he is the most successful YouTuber in the Super Soldier genre, though his videos average on the order of 10,000 views, indicating a small but dedicated audience. Super Soldier Talk tone and presentation. Outside of serious and sensational, episodes often carry disclaimers that Rink and his company, Neological Tech, do not necessarily vouch for the validity of the views expressed, suggesting the content is speculative. And I bet he has to do that for legal purposes. You would have to. And it's very interesting that this is being said, because I'm wondering how many people actually really know that he is not claiming any validity to anything that anybody says on his show. And maybe he doesn't even freaking care, right? But the thing of it is that this has spawned on a lot of people who actually believe this is real. And, I wonder if, you are selling products, does that not fall underneath deceptive practices? I mean, where do you draw the line in this? Where am I in this? Nevertheless, the platform presents its guest stories earnestly. Content on the accompanying website includes a blog of MyLab and SSP experiences, essentially a collection of anecdotal accounts and regression transcripts. Newcomers have noted that the site plunges readers into these stories with little context on explanation of jargon, implying it is tailored to an initiated audience that already understands terms like MK Ultra and Montauk, reptilians, etc. In summary, Super Soldier Talk serves as a forum for fringe testimonies aiming to validate and connect those who believe they've been part of a secret paranormal programs. And I do think that the word MK Ultra is a little more known than I think ChatGPT is giving credit for. I know that I took a screenplay writing class at Fresno State last semester, and there was one script that had MK Ultra in the title, and I just or it was no, it was there was a band called MK Ultra in the script. That's what it was, and so. To me, that indicates, especially since the person who is writing it is in their early 20s, it shows to me that there is even a youth culture that is that where the term MK Ultra has become fairly known. Now, what was interesting is when we were doing our table, because we would read so many pages of our screenplay, and then as a class, everybody gets critiqued on those pages, and I mentioned that. I said, "Oh, it's very interesting that you're including MK Ultra," and the professor was like, "What's that?" So I explained it to the professor what it was. So his generation, which is closer to my generation, he was not in that realm or had fallen into this realm of what's going on the internet like this. So also, Montauk is more popular than I think you think, and especially, I don't know how many people know this. A lot of people in our community, like in this community, those of you who have tuned in today that are up on this. But the Stranger Things screenplay was originally called the Montauk Project. Something. It had Montauk in the title. So when you have a Hollywood series where the original title was about Montauk, so you realize it's really based on Montauk, or stories-esque of Montauk, then it's more mainstream than people realize. These things are more mainstream. Now let's go to. Oh, I don't have my. Do I have that? Okay, here we go. Super Soldier Talks. I prefer to use my finger. I was going to use my mouse, but Super Soldier Talks tone and presentation straddled serious and sensational. Episodes often carry disclaimers that Rink and his company, Neological Tech, do not necessarily vouch for the validity of the views expressed, suggesting the content is speculative. Nevertheless, the platform. Okay, I read this part. Reoccurring things and claims on Super Soldier Talk. The content of Super Soldier Talk consistently revolves around a set of reoccurring themes and extraordinary claims. These include secret government programs. Virtually every discussion involves purported clandestine projects run by elements of the government or military, often dubbed the covert government or deep state. And this is played out. This part, the deep state part, plays out in our politics today in narratives. Okay. And when I've always pointed out that some of these things have come out of the UFO community that spilled on into or crossed over into what happened on the internet and then what happened politically. It's a small undertow, but it is there. Chief among these is the secret space program SSP, the idea that agencies have built spacecraft and off-world colonies in secret. Guests claim there are bases on Mars, the Moon, and even other star systems maintained by breakaway human factions in collaboration with aliens. A common narrative is the 20 and Back program. Individuals are said to spend 20 or more years in space or time travel missions, then be age regressed and mind wiped to live out the original life on Earth with no conscious memory. Wow, that sounds really freaking cruel, and somebody should write that into a screenplay immediately. Okay. Well, that's right. That was Wasn't that well, they just mentioned it, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, right? About Mars. Rink himself, for example, claims to have spent time on Mars serving a covert Mars colony corporation and fighting alongside an alternative Nazi military force on the Red Planet. Other secret projects frequently mentioned include Project Montauk, an alleged 1970s time travel and psychic experiment program at Camp Hero, New York, and Project Ultra Monarch, the well-documented CIA mind control program, which is their narratives extended into genetic super soldier experiments. Now, I do think that MK Ultra is real, and the MK Ultra Monarch project is real. I do think that there's MK Ultra mind control, and going on that subject as well, with Roseanne saying what she did years back about how it was, all over Hollywood. So I think that is very much a possibility that technique does exist. And the military base in Laurel Canyon, before Jared Leto owned it, and there's a whole lot of Jared Leto things going on right now too, but that military base was like the people who wrote the Manchurian Candidate, and they were doing all that kind of research was done up at that military base. There's a connection to that as well. So I've read, but I should probably go back and reconfirm that information. But that's the narrative that I've been aware of through Conspiracy World and what I looked at in Conspiracy World. So super soldier experiments. The core motif is that the super soldier humans augmented via technology, genetic engineering, psychic training, or extraterrestrial aid to become extraordinary warriors. Super soldier talk guests often claim they were part of efforts created an Ubermensch, superhuman for military use. This includes tales of enhanced abilities, telepathy, telekinesis, extreme strength, use of exoskeleton suits, or advanced weaponry, and even hybridization with alien DNA. For instance, Rink's book, Lone Wolf, describes an alien hybrid super warrior program under covert control. Some guests say they were trained from childhood in secret bases, indoctrinated, and physically modified to fight in secret wars. Others recount being part of elite squads battling extraterrestrial threats or rogue agencies. These super soldier claims are often highly cinematic. Rink's own biography describes roles as a Mars colony officer, a Navy space pilot, a Hulk program, recruit even a dolphin human hybrid soldier, and that's Aaron. What's his name? Aaron. I've covered a little bit of him. He did a Carrie Cassidy interview about being a dolphin hybrid. Such stories draw on sci-fi tropes. Gosh, I'm stuttering here. Positing that movies and video games are soft disclosure of real programs. Mind control in my labs. Mind control is a major theme closely tied to the super soldier narrative. Guests frequently describe being victims of my MK Ultra style programming involving trauma, drugs, hypnosis, and even occult rituals to create dissociative identities that can be controlled. The term MyLab, military abduction, is used to describe how individuals, often as children, were allegedly kidnapped or bred for these programs. Such super Super Soldier Talk episodes include discussions of monarch programming, the creation of alter egos, and memory erasure. Rink and others claim that after their Secret Service, they were mind wiped like in Men in Black and returned to normal life, only to later recover memories via hypnosis or spontaneous recall. The Montauk Project is often cited as pure the lore. Montauk involved kidnapping street kids for psychic experiments in the 1970s. Rink claims to have been one of those Montauk boys, saying he was kept in a cage and repeatedly age regressed over 40 years of experiments. Wow, I didn't know that. Let me read that again. I didn't know he put himself in the Montauk story. That's news to me. Rink claims to have been one of those Montauk boys, saying he was kept in a cage and repeatedly age regressed over 40 years of experiments. I'm going to open this window up right here. I'm looking at the source, and it looks like it's his own website, and I'll show that there in a minute. I'll show it in a minute. So this is his own stuff. The only link that there is about this is himself. He is the link. Okay. Project Surrogate, mentioned in Rink's bio, likewise implies he was placed with a surrogate family after being re-aged as an infant. Overall, trauma-based mind control is portrayed as a real and ongoing tool of the secret programs. Extraterrestrials and UFO technology. Another key theme is the involvement of alien beings and advanced technology. Super Soldier Talk guests speak of various extraterrestrial species, Greys, reptilians, Nordics, etc., such as adversaries, others as collaborators. Claims include secret treaties between the U.S. government and aliens, the alleged Greada Treaty of 1954, off-world trade, and even hybrid breeding programs. I'm going to pull that link up too to look at. Rink's content often referenced interstellar travel, anti-gravity craft, and portal technology supposedly used in the SSP. One recurring element is that many super soldiers say they served in units alongside non-human allies or enemies in space. For example, Randy Kramer, a frequent figure in this milieu, describes battling indigenous Martian species and working under a Mars colony governed by a clandestine Earth Council. Similarly, some guests discuss underground bases on Earth where aliens and humans work together on black projects. The notion of ETs in the government or alien imposters also arises. Essentially, the platform stories weaves UFO lore. Roswell reverse engineered spacecraft secret space wars colonies into the super soldier narrative. Other fringe elements. Super Soldier Talk doesn't limit itself strictly to military sci-fi claims. It often incorporates a grab bag of conspiracy theories, paranormal and occult ideas surface, such as astral projection, demons, and psychic warfare. There are frequent references to the Illuminati or Cabal controlling these secrets, and to spiritual ascension battles between good and evil. Notably, the community has shown a tendency to absorb pop culture fiction into its belief systems. So, an illustrated anecdote contributes on the Super Soldier Talk site. Once posted an artist's rendering of an underground lab that inadvertently included the Umbrella Corporation logo, a fictional company from the Resident Evil video games, on a door. So that is like, so this is the, I want to grab that because this is like from the video that I showed earlier this morning. And that's from that link goes to a Reddit article. Okay. Rather than recognize it as fiction, some in the group earnestly asserted that Umbrella Corp is a real entity equated with DARPA and had a hand in manufacturing woo-woo. Okay, so I'm not going to say that word on my channel. This highlights how almost any conspiracy trope or sci-fi element, from Nazi Antarctic bases and real society mysticism to time-traveling dinosaurs, yes, such claims exist in the Montauk lore, can find its way into Super Soldier Talk. No wonder why people are watching this. It's got every good story that you've ever seen in a movie or television show crammed into it. And people saying that they're actually legitimately part of it. Who would not want to watch this? The overarching theme in a grand unified conspiracy in which all of these disparate ideas connect: secret space programs, ancient aliens, mind control, Illuminati, medical experiences, quantum portals, and parallel timelines all blend into our vast mythos on Rink's platform. To summarize, Super Soldier Talk traffics in highly fantastical claims presented as true personal experiences. The reoccurring narrative is that shadowy organizations are conducting secret experiments and waging covert wars using superhuman soldiers and alien technology, all hidden from the public. These themes are repeated and embellished upon across episodes, creating a sprawling alternative history for viewers who follow along. Evaluating the claims' credibility and factual validity, the claims made on Super Soldier Talk are, by any scientific or journalistic standard, extraordinary and implausible. Evaluating their factual validity reveals a stark lack of credible evidence. No verifiable proof has ever emerged to substantiate the existence of a secret space armadas, 300-year-old soldiers, or alien allied programs of the kind described. The consensus of experts, investigators, and mainstream science is that these stories are best understood as fantasy or conspiracy fiction rather than hidden reality. To put the key claims in perspective, excuse me, consider the following comparisons between Super Soldier Talk narratives and established facts or expert assessments. Claim on Super Soldier Talk: a vast secret space program with bases on Mars, the moon, etc., exists, involving interstellar capable fleets. No credible evidence Space agencies and independent telescopes have detected no secret bases or fleets. NASA's budget and activities are publicly monitored, making a parallel space program of that scale infeasible to hide. The U.S. Space Force, created in 2019, fueled conspiracist speculation, but mainstream analysis confirms it's a reorganization of military space operations, not an admission of hidden UFO technology. Individuals serve 20 and back tours in space and age regressed youth. Physically unsubstantiated. No known technology can reverse aging or erase 20 years of aging in a person. But I heard face yoga works, and using castor oil when you sleep. So I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you how it works. Okay, maybe that works better than if you can't get this technology, do some face yoga. All right. The concept appears in science fiction. Real world biology offers no support. Memory suppression via drugs or hypnosis exist in limited forms, but the total mind wipe and age regression described defy known science. These memories usually emerge only under hypnosis, a method known to generate later recollections of suggestively guided. MyLab abductions and MK Ultra super soldier projects and emerging training children as psychic warriors. Distortion of historical facts. Project MK Ultra was a real CIA program, 1950s to the 60s, involving unethical mind control experiments, but it did not create super soldiers. It mostly failed to achieve mind control, and was exposed in the 1970s. Claims of current secret kidnap programs, Montauk, etc. Have no documentation beyond anecdotal recovered memories. Psychologists note that recovered memories under hypnosis are unreliable and susceptible to fantasy. The Montauk Project itself is widely regarded as a hoax or fictional legend. It originated from a 1992 book by Preston Nichols, and no evidence of actual secret experiments at Camp Hero has been found. Authorities have called the allegations unsubstantiated. All right, so you have to realize that I am reading, so don't get your panties in a bunch, all right? Not to quote David Schroeder. But I am sourcing like ChatGPT, which is scraping all opinions and everything off the internet and then coming up with what it's saying right here. So, again, ChatGPT is not the oracle of anything, but and I would suggest, and I think that I'm today's just super soldier talk fun Sunday. It's a fun day. We're just playing around here. I just did a search right now and said, hey, let's look and see what comes up. But I would like to go more into depth with the links and things like this. This is just you can't do ChatGPT and go, oh yeah, that's it, right? You got to see what it says and then go into those links and do your own investigation and your own clarifying. But I think ChatGPT right now is giving an overview of what the mainstream, if you were to talk about this subject outside of this niche of his 10,000 followers or 10,000 views or whatever he gets on his channel, you have to look at everything in the bigger picture in the real world, what has been assessed and what has been talked about this. And that's what I'm wanting to show you today. Get rid of that right there. Okay, I'm going to like kind of address some of the things that you guys are saying right now. Raven says programming is very much a part of it. They use trauma and none of it is glamorous. This is why the memories are missing. Aiken says Stranger Things is interesting in that it is actually a D&D game, so it brings science fiction fantasy drama in quite a good comparison to these stories. Yeah, D&D is definitely a running theme in Stranger Things. I stopped, you know what, I stopped watching Stranger Things in, I think, by the third or fourth season. Like, I just, at some point, I just kind of, like, the first two seasons, like, I just couldn't get enough of it. I might start watching it over again. But when it got farther on, I don't know what it was. I just kind of lost it for me. The whole Hellfire Club thing and what they were doing with that, knowing what, having looked into that topic a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of disturbing that they kind of muckied around with what that really is, I suppose. I don't know. It just didn't grab me. They want you to believe that. Aiken says the best example of modern day super soldier is a superhero known as the Shoveler. He had the battle cry, shovel well. I bet he was also probed. There's always probing. You make me laugh, Aiken. I think you have a funny sense of humor. No, notice they always include Nordics, but they never the Dutch. And yet, when Work arrived on Earth, he came in an egg, which is a shell. Clearly Dutch. They are here for our fluids. The AI is mainly spitting out the controlled narratives. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to go with all the narratives, I think, that's out there, and that would be, controlled. And the radar tower at the here, where was this one? Collaboration and treaties between government factions and extraterrestrial races, e.g. the 1954 Granada Treaty with the Gray Aliens. UFO folklore not confirmed. The supposed Greada Treaty and similar stories came from anecdotal accounts by a few individuals, no official documents. Historians and UFO research consider these claims part of UFO mythology. As the Associated Press noted, such ideas reside in the outer reaches of the UFO community. No credible evidence of alien contact or technology transfer programs has ever been produced that stands up to scientific scrutiny. I want to pull this AP Associated Press article. That's interesting to me. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. The radar tower of the decommissioned Camp Hero base in Montauk, New York, this real Cold War era facility, is central to the Montauk Project conspiracy tales, which allege secret mind control and time travel experiments took place there. No evidence of such programs has been found, and the Montauk stories are widely considered to be unsubstantiated urban legend. Beyond specific claims, the overall credibility of Super Soldier Talk is extremely low. Investigative journalists and UFO researchers who have looked into these narratives note that they often borrow elements from science fiction and video games, contain internal contradictions, and lack any physical proof. For example, many storytellers on the platform describe futuristic technologies and events that would have been tangible traces, advanced spacecraft spacecraft bases alien beings, yet nothing concrete has ever been brought forward, only personal testimonies. Fact checkers point out that if even a fraction of these claims were true, there would likely be whistleblowers with documents, leaked photos, or other hard evidence which are absent. Indeed, attempts to verify simpler related conspiracy claims have fallen flat, e.g., Freedom of Information Act requests about the alleged Solar Warden space fleet have turned up no records. It's also telling that some prominent figures in this area have been discredited even within the conspiracy community. A striking case is Corey Good, a well-known SSP claimant, not directly part of Rink's show, but a parallel figure. Good recently admitted under oath that his stories of space adventure was his creative intellectual property, i.e., essentially fiction. I'm going to pull this up here as well. That's interesting. And this admission has cast a shadow on similar super soldier narratives. Additionally, some individuals held up as super soldiers have been verifiable earthly explanations for their black backgrounds. For example, Super Soldier Talk has referenced Mark Richards as an insider. Here we go. But Richards is actually a convicted murderer who was in prison during the time he claimed to be on space missions. His fantastical story is promoted by his wife. Another James Casbold, aka Michael Prince, who boasted of being an MI6 trained super soldier, turned out to have no credentials and was imprisoned for criminal extortion. His claims are widely considered delusional. These examples underscore that many of the personalities behind the claims lack credibility or have ulterior motives, fame, profit, or personal delusions. From a scientific perspective, virtually all the extraordinary concepts on Super Soldier Talk, faster than light travel, human-animal hybrids, age regression technology, psychic warfare, are either impossible by current understanding or unsupported by any empirical evidence. The consensus of experts like astronomers, engineers, and psychologists in that these narratives are works of imaginative fiction or false memories, not legitimate whistleblowing. In summary, the factual validity of Super Soldier Talk's content is extremely poor. The platform serves more as an imaginative outlet or a form of shared storytelling for believers rather than a source of verifiable information. Any specific claims can be confidently said to lack confirmation. Many have been directly debunked or traced to hoaxes and works of fiction. For example, the Montauk Project story similarity to the TV show Stranger Things is no accident. The show was loosely inspired by these legends, coming full circle. Okay. But a lot of people believe that the Stranger Things, people believe that people make, Hollywood makes stories so that they can let people know that this is actually really true, is what a lot of people think is happening. So there's like, I know that there's a counter argument to that. A lot of people thought, oh, well, because it's on, it means it's really real. And there was a woman named Penny LaShepherd, who, by the way, has an association to David Schroeder because she's interviewed him several times, is actually tells people that she is the real 11 from the Stranger Things series. And so I would really like to point that out today. Okay, so let's carry on. We're almost done with reading this here. Oh, wait, where am I? Public reception of James Rink and Super Soldier Talk is sharply divided between a small receptive subculture and a large skeptical mainstream. In the alternative media and conspiracy community, Rink is a notable figure who has a following. His content resonates with those who are predisposed to believe in UFO government. His content resonates with those who are predisposed to believe in UFO cover-ups, secret government projects, and New Age spiritual warfare. Within this niche audience, Rink is often treated as an insider, revealing hidden truths. Viewers praise the show for giving a platform to stories they believe won't be heard elsewhere, and some even seek out Rink's help for regressions to explore their own potential pasts. The fact that Rink continues to host conferences, the 2025 Super Soldier Activation Conference planned in Orlando, and appear on paranormal podcasts suggests that he has a degree of support and credibility in those circles, even as similar SSP narratives like Corey Good's have faced infighting and controversy. However, in the eyes of mainstream observers and critical commenters, Super Soldier Talk is viewed as fringe curiosity, at best a bizarre form of sci-fi entertainment, and at worst a vehicle for delusion or grift. Wow, grift is right in there. Traditional media outlets have not given much success coverage to Rink or his claims, like to avoid lending them undue legitimacy. When addressed, it is usually with a tone of skepticism or humor. For instance, an AP News feature on UFO conspiracy theorists described secret space program believers as the outer reaches of the UFO community, implicating casting doubt on their claims. No major science or defense publication considers Rink's stories credible. If mentioned, it's typically the context of debunking conspiracy theories or highlighting internet cult phenomenon. Independent researchers and skeptic communities have been direct in their criticism. Some have outright labeled Super Soldier Talk a bizarre conspiracy cult. And that's what we just have been going over today. A YouTube documentary by Oki's Weird Stories that investigated the group characterized it as cult-like, noting the presence of in-group jargon while fantastical belief systems and a cadre of devoted followers. The reaction from the skeptics often mixes incredulity and ridicule. For example, a comedy podcast reviewing the SSB conspiracy remarked that it is one of the more bonkers conspiracy theories out there, and openly laughed at the idea that an average-looking person could have spent 300 years as a spacefaring commando. Such commenters emphasize how surreal and non-believable the tales are, often pointing out when elements are lifted from pop culture. The presence of fictional logos like the umbrella example, or references to scientific debunked ideas like flat earth or Nazi bases in Antarctica, leads critics to describe the super soldier talk mythos as a smorgasbord of every conspiracy theory in existence, regardless of whether they contradict one another. Even when the UFOlogical and paranormal circles, Rink's platform, sometimes seen as extreme and dubious, more moderate UFO researchers distance themselves from the SSP crowd, focusing instead on eyewitness sightings or declassified documents rather than fantastical personal narratives. Some prominent figures in UFOlogy have expressed concern that the proliferation of unfounded stories like those on Super Soldier Talk undermines the credibility of genuine research into unexplained phenomena. In online groups, one can find ex-believers or adjacent community members calling out Super Soldier Talk for lacking evidence or fostering an echo chamber of unverified claims. The format of the show, essentially giving anyone airtime to describe dreamlike experiences, has been criticized for letting guests incoherently ramble without challenge. This non-critical approach, skeptics argue, might encourage vulnerable individuals to reinforce each other's delusions. I was just checking on the chat there. Wow. This is really long. But I'm just doing it anyways. Whatever. Notably, when the Okies Weird Stories expose was released, James Rink reacted defensively. He posted a rebuttal to it on his blog, accusing the filmmaker of lying and being in the SSP to infiltrate the group. This incident showed a rather insular reaction. Instead of addressing the substantive issues, lack of proof, the absurdity of such claims, Rink focused on maintaining the narrative and dismissing the critic as a fraud. It also suggested that the community surrounding Super Soldier Talk is sensitive to outside scrutiny, further fueling the impression that it operates more like a faith-based group than a factual forum. In summary, critical reception of James Rink and Super Soldier Talk is overwhelmingly negative outside the immediate believer community. The general public, when aware of these ideas, tends to see them as laughable or sad. Common descriptors from skeptics include crackpot, lunatic, and hoax, reflecting the view that these are baseless fantasies. Conversely, among the subset of believers, Rink is respected as a pioneer uncovering hidden knowledge. This polarization is typical for modern conspiracy subcultures. A tight-knit group accepts the narrative wholeheartedly, while the majority either hasn't heard or find it untenable. Thus, James Rink remains a fringe figure, intriguing to those who frequent conspiracy forums and alternative media, but regard with disbelief or simply ignored by mainstream society and experts. The Super Soldier Talk content, rich and dynamic claims but devoid of evidence, serves as a stark example of how entertainment, conspiracy, and fringe mythology can blend into elaborate subculture in the internet age, one that thrives on the margins despite or because of widespread credibility. Sources: James Rink's bio on Out of This World Radio. Okay, and it goes on Super Soldier Tall website. It lists all the sources here. Huh. Pretty interesting. So that is, that is a deep dive research into Super Soldier Talk. And I see I lost a lot of people kind of dipped out on that. I was a lot of reading there. And so if you got this far, thank you for hanging in there. And if you are just back, we are doing, we're just kind of looking into the Super Soldier program, more specifically James Rink, and also Oki's Weird Stories, the documentary. I'm going to show a couple more clips here of some videos before I end. And you know what? I did pull up the links, but I'm not going to go over those links. We will visit this topic and the links and go more in depth on just James Rink in general and this particular topic. But this is Super Soldier Fun Day Sunday. And we're just playing around here, just looking at stuff and sharing, delving into the topic just in general. All right, so I found this guy. His name is Richard Bruce. He does videos that are about reptilians. All right, and he comes from a Christian base. He lives out in Los Angeles, but he talks a lot about James Rink and what he does as being valid. Where did I put that at? On talk. Let me see. Darn, I thought I clicked onto it. Well, I know where I can find it. Okay. Yeah, here he is. Okay, yeah. So this particular episode on him, he starts out, he lives in an RV, and he drives around in LA. He's been featured on Vice as a targeted individual, and he starts out with he will start out with
decided was that this line here in Psalm 17, when it says, "As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness." So this, I believe, is the Holy Spirit, if I'm correct, speaking to the Lord. And he's saying, "As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness." So you see, it's the same thing as the Son being one with the Father, or the Son being the rebirth of the Father as a human in the world, is my take on it. So what you have here, I believe, is a parallel that you get, a lesser but yet parallel situation where the Spirit
okay, so he goes on.
or himself.
I'm going to skip because he'll go on for it goes on for a really long time, but I want to get to this part here when he starts talking.
The word countenance, let's
wait. Here it is. This is what I want.
Baned my one of the things that's kind of been a bane to my existence is the abhorrent nature of the things of God to those who I would like to be able to talk with and connect with and hear things that I haven't heard and things that I don't know about what's going on here. You know, people like I've been talking with or about recently, like James Rink, Jimmy Payne, and a lot of people that Super Soldier talk, but also would have liked to talk with somebody like Miles Johnston of Basis Project or Kerry Cassidy. But just speaking of those people, I believe that all those people that I just mentioned were not interested in associating with me for other reasons, but for one of the main reasons, and Miles Johnston was straightforward with me, saying that he basically wasn't interested in talking with me because I was a religious believer. Okay, so the way he put it was, I'm not set up or whatever to, my program is not geared towards those of faith, those that believe in, for instance, the Christian Bible. And it's been a bane to my existence because I would have liked to been able to talk with him. I would have liked to been able to, for instance, connect with somebody like James Rink a little bit more, but I know that let's just say he's not the biggest fan of mine. I don't, for whatever reason he had me on a show once, but I think that maybe maybe he has some doubts about that or whatever. He was looking for a filler or also to advertise for his upcoming conference there, which, by the way, if you're interested in the Super Soldier Talk, if I had the money and I wasn't in the situation, I'd totally go, just to support, his work, even if he, straight up doesn't like me for my religious belief, which I think is the case, actually, because.
So he's talking about the Super Soldier Summit that I showed in the earlier footage in this video when we went through some of James Rink and Super Soldier Talk's recent videos. So here he is talking about wanting to go and then saying that he does not think that James Rink likes him because of his religious beliefs, and kind of shuts the door of having him be here. Here's this guy. Let me just make this argument, right? Here's this guy who seems to open up everybody, who comes in and says the correct things that go along with the program of what they're selling on the internet, which does go into a grift, which does go into $200 meditation sessions and things like this, which does go to all these conferences and things like that, people paying for stuff and everything. So, and I'm gonna play again a little bit of him doing this clearing session with the guy from Oki's Weird Stories and what takes place there as well, or at least him paying for to be his meditation series and his telling of a story. We're gonna watch that, which costs $200 for him to do it. So, but I'm gonna play a little bit more of him before we get to that.
I think to me. The information of God is the most interesting paranormal information going on here, because I know, or at least I believe, and I believe that I've been given to believe, that this is true. This is a 100% accurate book here. Okay, and there's he God, who made this whole situation and who is dwelling with us and is a personal God in everyone's lives, in every second. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the good and the evil. He is not a God far away. He is a present God. And that's exciting and interesting, because this fellow here is who made this whole thing. It's not like just all this is a confluence of events and swirling matter just randomly came together. It's not that. It's someone planned it. It's a plan. It's a creation. And you're looking in the mirror at one of the robots this one creator made. He is the father of all souls. Okay. Now there are some beings out there that are not necessarily directly created by God. They're created by other beings, but ultimately Even a lot of extraterrestrials acknowledge that the universe had a father and mother creator figure. Sounds better to say figure, like Captain Picard. It's a figure. But the other reason, another reason on top of the disconnect of some of the people in the exopolitics, ufology, whatever, paranormal realm is that, and why I can't really as easily connect with them, not just because my religion is abhorrent to them, but also because of the need to be solitary during this time, which is also to a karmic payoff, a karmic payment that I had to make. And I totally understand about that. I mean, as far as like, I've accepted it, but other times maybe I don't accept it as well as I should. And then another factor of for that disconnect is that there is a absolutely right reason for people in this with interesting knowledge that would be interesting to know. A aspect of that is that, as I have been talking about forever, since from the very beginning I started this channel, the problem of being of Christians who have not made it past the breakwater of being a simpleton and a scorner, which is like 90...
Okay, so I'm gonna stop this here, but you get the gist about how he intersects with what James Rink is doing and how he very much believes that a lot of the narratives about James Rink that he puts on his channel are real. And I have, and I'm not going to bring it up right now, but I have had him talk about, Captain Randy Kramer and Captain Mark Richards, and really believing in these stories that it involve the mythology of reptilians. So now I want to get back. It's not the best pose there. I want to get back to bringing up the super soldier I started my analysis of this documentary that I did a few years back. Like, I guess 3 or 4 years. So I'm going to pull this. I'm just going to put it in the spot that I want to play here. This is when Oki and James Rink actually meet up. And so I want to play that part right now. All right. So here we go. This is one of my old shows, but I'm going to repeat it here for the ending of this live stream.
Got it. Doesn't he give away a bunch of free stuff on the videos?
Yeah.
They must have looked into his future, and okay, so whatever trajectory, whatever plans they had for him was all programming stuff.
Anyway, the session was a success. Such a success that I got what I wanted.
The person's video, there's a question, Pragmatic. It's Oki's Weird Stories is the YouTube channel. And look, I'm going to put the video in the chat here. And if you want to subscribe to his channel, I did. I subscribed to it. Here, let me put this in the description. He does, again, he does all kinds of different documentaries and stuff. So he just happened to go into this particular subject. But and then also in the description, I have his I have him there. Hey, Stephen Cambion. Randy Kramer describes guns used in the video game Halo when asked about what weapons he used to fight aliens on Mars. Yeah, they're all taking information from that, right? From games and from movies, because why be original, right?
James invited me onto his show. Then he mentioned that it would be a little while before he could have me on his show because he was going to attend a secret space program conference taking place in early November.
Okay, so he invites him to the Congress, the conference, and then wait, let me go on here. All right, let's go. Let's go to here. So he gets to the conference, right? And let's start about right here.
Oh yeah. I guess we're gonna go learn how to becomes stronger through genetics.
And experience.
Look how there's nobody there.
I've been
Nobody
there several
there.
times. I spoke with the commander, the Arcturian commander, who I am connected
Is this Marine Saint Germain? I don't know.
to.
Jeez. That's Stephen Furman right there.
They flew us to a separate base. We left this base and we went to a separate one on the moon, and it was U.S. military personnel. And the next morning, they gave us a
And
set of
that's
clothes to
Tony
wear. and put us
Rodriguez.
on a-
I don't know if you guys are really familiar with him. I've watched a few of his interviews before. I'm friends with him on Facebook. But yeah, he's a UFO experiencer. I wouldn't say that he goes as he's not a super soldier though.
on a larger craft and flew us to Mars. Flew out, we got away from the moon and immediately jumped to Mars.
Yes, I was talking about this concert, this Travis Scott concert.
This guy is always at these events. When I was at the event in Los Angeles, he was there.
Where 800 people were injected with these drone mosquitoes. You know, you see that, wow, they can go around and inject people.
Oh, good Lord. But notice the shamanism. Notice the spirituality that goes along with this.
The conference was a pretty fun but disorganized event. The two workshops we were really looking forward to attending were How to Become a Jedi Warrior and Quantum Spoon Bending, Bring Your Own Spoon.
How to Become a Jedi Warrior. Stephen D. Kelly is a no-show. Oh, what, Steve? Okay, so I'm really looking for when he does that session with. Here we go. I think it's here.
I knocked. The time had finally come.
Wow. Here we go.
James had his camera equipment set up in the corner of the hotel room. He instructed me to take a seat in front of his camera and microphone. I asked him if it was okay if Night Docs filmed the interview, and he said it was fine. After a brief preliminary discussion, James started recording and we were underway. By then, any nervous anticipation I felt leading up to this face-to-face sit-down had completely dissipated. I was calm, knowing that I was more than prepared to speak about my time in the secret space program in a convincing manner. The interview lasted 1 hour, and here's what happened.
Okay, so my name is Oki. So it started from before I was even born, where they genetically enhanced my DNA. And by the time I was 6, I was put into a special program run by Monarch. I was under direct tutelage of Pulse Ring, Kevin Spacey's clone. There was 12 children who were trained directly under him, including myself. And
He's really good, isn't he?
YouTuber Mr. Beast.
So, can you comment about what you or maybe Mr. Beast or maybe the people
Like he's
in your
actually taking notes.
group were all being groomed for?
We were pretty much put in a top elite special program. They pretty much utilized every method they could to use MK Ultra programming and to create killing machines. And I was able to just look at a photo of a target and make their head explode. 'Cause, I mean, there was billions of dollars spent on each and every single one of us. I particularly liked my psionic katana. I liked my my 2 daggers. I had a form of EMP that I could take out their technologies. In my past life, I was Yasuke.
Thanks for Christ. The Super Soldier events that are in the UK most likely are done by Miles Johnston. That's from the Basis Project. So yeah. Although with the arrest of James Casbolt, because I don't know if you I don't know if you guys know this, but James Casbolt, I think you do. James Casbolt, because it said in the beginning of the documentary. Yeah. So like I don't know, Miles kind of lost his big super soldier stars. This guy's my new favorite person. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks for Christ, do you know him? I would love to interview him. What's his real name? I don't know. It's from the Okies channel. I would love to interview him. That would be fun. Yeah, it's great. Okay, here we go.
the Black Samurai.
Did any of your clones ever get changed into a zombie?
I had a clone. That clone actually was fighting zombies and vampires, and there was also Yetis that they were fighting.
What about vampires? Do you recall any scenarios fighting vampires?
But this particular thing, this is something I learned about vampires actually, is that they can't help but count. From what I remember, most closely is that I do have many different clones of myself with parts of my consciousness uploaded into those clones. I was cloned, and my clones with my consciousness inside of them were used pretty much as like kamikaze pilots.
Typically, at least what I heard, Black people require a different protocol of brainwashing.
That part just really gets me, that that he says that, and I want to, the reason why I wanted to play this part, okay, is the fact that he said his programming was different as a Black person. And I want to bring up the white domination of UFOlogy, from the Palladians to being white haired. I'm not talking about being Palladian. My hair is very white today, but that whole thing of that there's a superiority of race, that extraterrestrials are connected mostly to white people, and I mean, I know that they have the Dogon tribe and stuff like this, and there's belief it's dark skin and serious and this and that, but there is a something to that, I think. And even in the science fiction world, there was a white man dominance in, major science fiction writers. For example, Philip Dick and, all of them, right? So there's been this dominance out there. But now we have Afrofuturism, which was coined by a African American writer called Octavia Butler, who, by the way, was from Altadena, California, who wrote a book that I just finished reading called The Parable of the Sow, and it's really good. And it's a futuristic society with basically global warming and loss of land, burnings, fires, and it's kind of ironic to read it when the LA fires have actually really happened. But she coined the name Afrofuturism, and it's a dystopian tale, but there is there's been a movement, especially also with female Black writers, but there is this kind of, in the Black culture has brought in their version and made their way into this particular topic. I'm just talking about when it comes to like fiction, but in conspiracy world, there is hardly anything that incorporates Black people. And I learned in my Hmong Asian studies class that I took this last semester that the term green card has being called an alien, and the fact that Martians are green, there's a connection with the alien and the not being native or white or whatever. So I think that might be an interesting topic to. I would be interested to delve into that particular topic further, but I just thought that it was interesting that James Rink told him that well, your MK Ultra, like as if your brain is different than the white man's brain, so you're going to have to need a different kind of programming because you're not white, basically, is kind of how that reads to me. Like you can see his expression, like what? Because really, race is not biological. Every human being we're all the same. And the reason why we have different skin color is based on clinal variation. And if you want to know what that is, do some research. Okay. So on that note, This has been a very long Sunday show, almost 3 hours, and I want to thank Willow. I know that Raven has been here since the beginning, and so I really appreciate you being here the whole time. And if you come in here for a moment and bleeped out, and you're going to come back or whatever, please do give us a like and a share. And thank you for supporting Not My Rabbit Hole and being into this topic and being open-minded to listen to criticism of it as well. Thank you, Raven. All right. So on that note, I'm going to end the show.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lulz, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole.